When I was an undergraduate, I remember I worked with some of the very, very best neuroscientists in the country. And I just looked up to these guys. I thought they were it. And then one day, this guy called the Dalai Lama came to town. This was a long time ago, longer than I should admit. At any rate, there was a debate at MIT between the Dalai Lama and the Boston neuroscientists. And so I went to this, not knowing what to expect, and I was amazed, absolutely amazed, because this monk stood there, and first of all, he could hold his own easily with these guys, but he genuinely wanted to understand what it is that we knew, that he didn't know, or that he couldn't learn from the books that he had studied. And he had an incredible demeanor to him, and he was very, very just interested and not combative. It wasn't like he was trying to prove he was right and they were wrong, or trying to prove that he was smarter or more accomplished, or that his research was this or that. He just wanted to understand the human mind, and the reason he wanted to understand what we knew about the human brain was because for centuries his tradition had taught that humans were basically compassionate, that we're basically good. Now, in the Abrahamic traditions, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, it's not so clear whether we're good or bad. Maybe we were good, but then we sinned, and now we're bad. And so we don't know whether we're born good or bad. And this debate has gone on philosophically for centuries and centuries. And we've never had any real data. But now we do have data. And the data is this, is that there's a thing, again, I'm not going to go into great detail, there's a thing called mirror neurons. And these neurons sit in this part of the brain, and primarily in mammals, and in primates is where we know about them. Just by accident, it was discovered, somebody went into a laboratory where some monkeys electroencephalographic electrodes, and he noticed that if he did one thing to one monkey, another monkey's brain went off in that same area. And he thought that was interesting. And he kept experimenting with it, and it turns out that there's parts of the brain that will light up if someone else is going through something. So that's an interesting idea. And so, but it's very abstract, so what I do is I illustrate whether or not we're fundamentally compassionate or not with the following. Yeah, exactly. So what happens? Immediately we have a very strong reaction, okay? Now, how many of you are worried about hurting yourself playing football like that? You're not. But you immediately have empathic reactions. You immediately feel pain. You don't even know this guy. But that part of your brain, I think that was his left leg, okay, that part of your brain on the right side that corresponds to that particular part of his leg that was broken was firing off. And if I had electroencephalograms on you, I could demonstrate that to you. But I think you can tell by your strong guttural response that that there is something going on, and that something is called being hardwired to at least commiserate and co-suffer with other humans that are suffering. So if you leave everything alone and everything's healthy, then that is our natural state.
On the New York City subway, it's hard enough finding someone who will give up his seat to a stranger, let alone be willing to give up his life for one.
The train was coming in like that.
It happened just 50-year-old Wesley Autry, a construction worker and Navy veteran, was standing on a subway platform with his two little girls when right in front of them, a man started having a seizure.
He kind of stumbled and over his own feet and fall backwards. I see a train coming, but the train is so close, I'm like, what do I do?
Wesley jumped onto the tracks and thought if he could just lie on top of the man, keep him from flailing, maybe the train would roll right over both of them. The clearance was exactly 21 inches. Wesley and the man, 20 and a half.
No way the train can stop before this gentleman could get him up off the tracks. So he covered him with his body and pushed him down to a point where the train wouldn't hit his head and held him down under the tracks while the train came and rolled right over the top of him.
It gave Wesley's children the scare of their young lives.
I thought he was going to get killed.
And Wesley, the scare of his, too.
I'm like talking to him, sir, you can't move. I got 2 kids up here looking for their father to come back. I don't know you, you don't know me, but listen, don't panic. You know, I'm here to save you.
As for the guy Wesley saved, he's 20-year-old Cameron Hollipter. And other than a few scrapes and bruises, his father says he's doing fine.
Mr. Autry's instinctive and unselfish act saved our son's life.
You know, the word hero gets thrown around a lot nowadays.
What a better way to say it, to start off the new year than to save a life.
Yo, man.
Nice to be reminded of what one really looks like. Steve Hartman, CBS News, New York.